I don't know about you, but I'm ready to see some creative cut, color and styling work. Who better to share their knowledge and expertise than the legendary Marc Antoni Art Team, multiple award winners and current winners of the Southern British Hairdressing Awards 2021. This team eats and breathes hairdressing, and they have a well-respected reputation within the professional hair care industry. They perfectly combine artistry with salon reality. So get ready for some true hairdressing inspiration, grab your JOINATION popcorn and a champagne and enjoy the show.
Hi everyone, my name is Bruno Marc and I'm one of Joico's International Creative Ambassadors.
Hi everyone, my name's Dan Spiller and I'm from Marc Antoni. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some colour work and some long hair work. It's going to be a fantastic afternoon, so let's get going.
Now I've already prepared some of the haircut on Chloe. As you can see, we've got this beautiful A-line shape where I've just done this soft graduation going into the back. We're going to keep our A-line followed through into the side, so we're going to keep this length. I'm going to get a little bit more movement and texture through these sides. So we're going to take this a lot more fitting to the head. Coming through to the other side, as you can see, following through with the A-line shape, but again, where we've got all these long layers, we want to make this a lot more figure hug into the head, so she gets a lot more movement and texture going through towards the front. If I just push Chloe forward, and as you can see, this top section, this triangle section of the fringe, I'm going to keep this quite weighted because we've got the shorter areas coming through from the top into the sides, which is going to drive that fringe where we want it to go.
Right guys, so this is my model Jenny. She's great, she's the first time working together. So to give you an understanding of her history, you can see through this front area we've got pre-lightened highlights that were existing from the previous colour. What I've decided to do, for the interest of time, I've just worked our global application. As you can see, we've worked a nice rich tone through there. We're actually working with the DDs in Lumishine, and the reason for that is it's a fantastic product. It gives us the opportunity to be able to apply a colour on pre-lightened hair from the very beginning. Obviously, for today, I'm actually working with the natural red gold range, but the beauty of this product range is that we're in a position where we'll be able to utilise it, but without doing any pre-filling, which saves some time. So to give you a bit of an understanding about myself at Marc Antoni, I do a lot of the colour work within the artistic team. We're very fortunate enough to work together as a creative team, and it's really important for us at Marc Antoni. Whenever we're working creatively, at the end of the day, it needs to stay relevant to the shop floor. So today I thought it'd be really good to share with you a really salon-friendly technique. So what the plan is, through this front area, we're going to be gradually getting a little bit brighter and lighter throughout the ends, through that front area. So through the perimeter, we've worked with 5 NRG, 5 natural red gold. And the idea behind that is just to get a bit of rich density to the shape. Because Jenny's hair's on the slightly finer side, we want to create a little bit more of a solid silhouette. And then internally we're going to be gradually getting lighter, going in with the 8NRG and then 8NRG with a bit of 10N on those very ends. So I'm going to get applying and we'll start working.
Okay guys, as you can see, I'm working this section through from the back into this side. we're taking this very head shape, taking it very close to the head so that we've got this movement and texture. But we're still maintaining our length. We still want to keep that nice A-line shape. So I'm just working through my side sections here. I'm cutting this hair kind of damp. It's not too wet. So I can just feel the shape in my fingers.
So through this shape you can see the plan is for us to gradually get a little bit brighter towards the front. I'm utilising the 5NRG on the root area all the way through though, because we're working with Jenny's natural depth, which is on the base of a 5, and then we're going to be slowly incorporating those slightly lighter tones on the mid-length and ends. And we're just dragging it back. It's one of those super salon friendly techniques where we're working with the existing lights that are already there, which makes our lives nice and easy. And the beauty of working with the DDs in LumiShine, it gives us the opportunity to do this on any colour base. It doesn't necessarily need to be a red because of the technology that's behind it. So I'm just working, being quite clean with the application, and we'll gradually work our way through to that front area.
Right, if I just turn Chloe round, as you can see, I'm starting to keep this shape, so we've gone into the A-line. Now, with this front section, we're starting to use these sections and we're going to bring them back into my previous section. So it's right back, maintaining that weight around the front and just keeping that length that we want in the bottom, which gives us its nice flow through to the jaw. So dragging this section right back.
Fab. So you can see I am now going to isolate, because the area that I'm over directing to will start to stretch into the root. So I'm going to continue with the same colour, but just using the foil to isolate to ensure that we still get a nice clean blend between the two. So again, going in with the 5NRG. And for those of you that aren't familiar with LumiShine within Joico, the DDs are a demi-permanent colour, which is fantastic. It gives a super shine, but the main reason for me using it on the shop floor is having that opportunity to be able to go from lighter to darker without having to pre-fill. I think it's really important for those of you who haven't used it or aren't aware of it. The benefit of working with it on the shop floor is fantastic.
Okay, as you can see, this shape now, we're coming in, we've got this beautiful A-line shape into the back. Or if I come to the side of the camera, you've got this nice graduation which goes in, working through, and then we've got this texture here where we've just elevated and we've dragged the front section in front of the hair back to that point, maintaining our length. But it just gives it that nice wafier feel, so it's not as blocked and heavy. I think the way things are moving forward now, everything is about more texture and a little bit more softness within the hair, not so blunt.
But moving on to Jenny's hair, you can see that I am now, I've moved on from my mid colour into my lightest colour. I'm still utilising the same 5NRG on the roots, but I'm working with the 8NRG with a bit of 10N on those mid lengths, just so we're working with the lightest area through the front.
That's great, Dan. Going back to Chloe's colour, I think as I wanted to create a haircut which we're taking Chloe from a bob to more open and more textured, I didn't want lots of different tonal colours. So a nice rich chocolate brown, which is like what Dan has achieved with this, I just think it strengthens the whole haircut. And as you can see, the gloss on this is absolutely phenomenal. As you can see now, I'm coming to the top of the ear, the highest point of the ear. So I'm just starting to direct everything back to this point. I do a mixture of going in with the points of my scissors to just create a little bit of texture, or you can go with your straight line. And now all this front section here is being directed back. So this is all coming back now to the point of the top of the ear. So it maintains the length, but it also removes the weight from within, making the whole shape a lot more head hugging.
Fab. So I've finished my application. Just as we get to the hairline, you know, just stroking using the tips of the brush to ensure that we get a nice seamless link. And what I'm going to do is now I'm going to let Jenny develop. So with the development time, we're working with the DDs in Lumishine, so that'll be a 35-minute development time. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to move on to my next model, Georgia.
So now with Chloe's haircut, I've worked these top sections and we've elevated them, creating lots of texture, and then stopping at the highest point of the hair and then directing the hair back to create this beautiful softness on the jaw. Now we're going to come through the haircut sideways, and I'm just going to do a little bit more refining and just point cut into these ends, just breaking it up so I get that lovely fan effect.
Okay guys, so to share with you the formulations with Georgia's hair today. So again, we've worked with the colour intensities with Georgia's hair. I've worked with the magenta with a tiny bit of yellow, and we've incorporated the HKP, which is liquid protein for the hair. And what I find is that it just loosens up the product and gives us a bit more of a seamless colour application. So for those of you who are unaware of what the intensity range is within Joico, it is their direct dye, which is fantastic. It's one of those products that's great because it means that we're in a position on the shop floor to be able to use it off the back. We don't necessarily need to do any form of skin testing, so it means that we're in a position to be able to have some playful colour without that skin testing necessary. So what I'm doing, I'm working with the magenta on the very root area, and then I'm going into my ruby red, which also has a tiny dash of hot pink in there as well. And then we finalise with a bit of yellow, but you can see the starting base has already got a peachy tone, so I'm looking for that slightly more peachy finish, and I think the yellow will just help bring that out.
So now we've created this movement and texture. We have finished this side of Chloe's haircut. As you can see, if I just spin around, we've got this beautiful A-line shape, which then comes into our A-line shape through the side. And we've really got this nice fan effect where we've created this texture and movement which we wanted. So as you can see, it's a lot more figure hugging to the head shape. Okay, now I'm going to work on this front panel. So if I just lean you forward, Chloe. So this front section, where this is shorter, we're just going to connect this and we're going to go from short to long, just so we've got a lot more movement on the top, but we still maintain our length at the bottom.
So guys, as you can see, I'm continuing to take nice clean sections. Within the shape, we've got, it's a rectangular shape sitting through here, and then it goes into a point. And where Marcus is going to work his shape, we're going to have just this interest of colour peeking through the fringe, just to create a little bit more of a graphic finish to the shape. And the idea is that I'm continuing to over-direct everything into one side, and gradually I'm going to be using less of the yellow and even less of the ruby red, but then we'll start again. And I think this next stage will be the first one. So when it gets to the next bit, I'll show you, and then we'll start all over again.
Right, coming into the side now. I just want to open this up a little bit. So where I've got this length here at the front, where we've got this nice little fan, and this is a little bit wispy and weak, I'm just going to carve this out to make this stronger. So you comb the hair down. I'll turn you to camera. We comb the hair down. We just use the points of our scissors, and we just go in and just break this away. So you see, just push that back, points of the scissors. And it just opens up the cheekbone.
Right guys, so I've finished my application on Georgia. So just to give you a bit of a recap, we've worked magenta with a tiny bit of yellow as a global application, working from root to tip on her natural base. And then on the pre-lightened segment that we've got a rectangular shape that then finishes into a point, so a long triangle. We've worked magenta going into ruby red, then going into yellow. And then we've blended them through, and then we've restarted as the hairs started to fall out and drop out. The idea is when Marcus comes to do the shape, there's going to be quite a graphic finish through there with some interesting colour placement going through. To give you an understanding of the care side to what we're going to be working with, we're going to be working with the Defy Damage. So we've already worked with the hairspray Pro Series 1, and then we're going to finish with Pro Series 2, just to lock in that condition and create lots of shine.
So as you can see, I'm coming to the finish. I'm just using a little bit of Rise Up. This is one of my favourite products. It's just a powder, and for fine hair and root lift, it's absolutely phenomenal. You just spray it on in, and it just gives it this texture within the hair. And as you can see with Chloe's hair now, the haircut really comes alive. Just move her in where I want this. It's in a little spray, it's really nice, and I'm just maneuvering my hands through this, creating this texture. So as you can see now, we finished with Chloe's haircut. If I just turn around, she's got this beautiful A-line shape in the back, and we've got lots more texture and volume from within, and that's just a nice technique which creates, and I must say, having this beautiful rich colour really emphasises the haircut and the shape. Thank you. Boom, we're done.
Hi there, I'm Paolo Giammattei and I'm part of the Marc Antoni Art Team. Earlier, with my model Massimo, we pre-lightened the hair and used the Quicksilver tone over the top. For the second part, as you can see, to save a little bit of time, we cut half the haircut. And for the second part, I'm just going to show you how to blend it all and do the second part as well.
Hi, my name's Marcus and I'm part of the Marc Antoni Art Team and the European design team for Joico. It's great to be here today doing the finale show for JOINATION. My model today is Valid. I've used Valid lots of times. We're going to be doing a classic skim fade. Just for timing, I've already cut one half and we've gone straight down to, bald without any blade on the clippers, working our way up to a perfect blend. I'm not going to be doing it typically like a barber style, where they put in the line first and then blend away the line. I'm going to be working down through the grades, starting off with about a 2, maybe a 1.5, and then gradually fading down to nothing. So I'm going to start now and I'll get on with the longer grade.
So, as you can see, I'm starting to put my outline in at the top, and I'm using the grade 1.5. And this is just to basically shadow exactly what I've done on the first side into the second side. Sometimes I like to go down the grades. This time I'm going to put the line in, but I'm not going to do that until I get to the grade 0 and blend that line through so it's a nice sharp look effect and get it to the bald.
So I'm starting with a 1.5, but I've got it open so it's more like a 1 3/4. And as you see, I'm starting to blend out and I'm trying not to put a line into the haircut. So I'm gradually fading out until we're left with just a little lip, and then gradually I will work that lip away just by going up a little bit higher and gently flicking out with the clippers. So I'd say this is more for the person who's not that confident. If you're not that confident with the clippers, going in it like this will make your life a lot easier and it will take away some pressure. If you're a bit braver and a little bit more advanced, then you can go in and do what Paolo's doing and put in the line. There isn't a right or wrong, it's whatever works for you.
I feel like also, especially with Massimo's hair, as we've coloured it, I'm using each line to get my baseline. So I've got the 1, the 0.5 here, the one here, and the two here. And it's basically using that as a guideline. If he hadn't had his hair coloured, it's probably a little bit harder, and I'd probably work down the grades, but as he's got his hair coloured, it shows off the lines, and you could shadow that as you go through.
The main difference between a man's haircut and a lady's haircut is women tend to be a rounder shape, softer, and with a man it's a little bit squarer and more angular. So that lip now is nearly gone, and then I'll be putting on the smaller grade and going down to a 1 and then a half and then skin. So you can see that's pretty much gone now. Just got a little bit of weight through the back, which afterwards you could soften that with the scissors. You know, you might sometimes get away with doing it all clipper work, but normally you will have to go in a little bit with the scissors at the end, a bit of scissor over comb or a bit of texturising just to soften that weight line.
So now I'm going into my line, putting the bald line through there. I think with your client, always check. With Massimo, he's got a quite high obstacle bone, so you can always see and it'll always stand out. So I'm going to put my line just above that, so it'll be nice and bald, and you won't get no line when you try to fade it. So I'm just putting my line in now, get that nice and short, nice and sharp, and then I'll try to fade that through with a 0.5 once I've done that.
So now I'm just repeating what we did with the 1.5. I've now put it onto a 1 grade with my clippers open, so it's a bit like a 1 1/4. And I'm just going up, going through the same motion, but I'm going up a little bit lower. So, and I'm always, if you see, I'm always making sure that the clippers are in contact with the head. Yeah, I think it's really important, because that way then we're always angling out and following the head shape. If you leave the head and just go in that way, that's when you create lines. If I make sure my clip is always in contact with the head and flicking outwards, then we don't get a line. So I've done that with a 1 open, and then I'm going to shut it a little bit, and I'm going through the same motion. And each time you just work a little bit lower, making sure that we're keeping flat to the head. And now I've shut it completely. And obviously if you're working in the salon, you've got a mirror, which obviously is the best way to check your profile shape. Then, you know, without a mirror, it definitely makes your life on short work harder. So, you know, I can't stress enough when you're doing this short work that you have to forever use your mirror.
As you can see, I've put my nought line in through there. Let's get as sharp as possible using the mini trimmers as well, so it's nice and short through there. To finish it off, I will go over the foil just to get that bald effect. As you see now, I'm just blending that nought line through there to 0.5 and just following each line. So I started with the 1.5 into the 1, 0.5 into the bald, and it's just blending those lines through each time.
I think when you're doing this short work, it's not just about looking at the line that you're chipping away. A lot of it is listening as well. Like if there's a line to chip away at, you can hear it because the clippers are still cutting hair. Once there's no hair or the line's gone, the sound changes. And often, I mean, doing what Paolo does is a proper art. And you know, lots of little movements to keep chipping away at that line.
So when cutting, doing a skin fade and checking the lines, normally in a salon environment, when you've got the mirror in front of you, I always spin my client around and you can always see the lines in the head. Whereas here, like I said, with the occipital bone, you can always see if there's a line you need to fade out a little bit more and flick out a little bit more, or if you're happy with it, just leave it. Sometimes you get in a salon environment where it's perfect, you're spot on, you go over it again and then you have to start all over again with the line. Once you feel happy with it, stop there and just go into different areas where you feel there needs a bit more improvement.
And I think that's a great tip, turning your client around in the mirror is really good, because the mirror swells everything, makes everything look a little bit larger. And so if there is a bit of a weight line, the mirror makes that stand out even more.
So just finishing off now. I'm happy with all my outline here, using the 1.5 and going into the fade there, and now I'm just going to go with the foil. The foil just creates that nice skin fade and gets it nice and bald through there, and then I will graduate this front section through the fringe, that's how the client likes, that's how Massimo prefers it, but it graduated through there, and I'll just chip into this top section at the front to give it a little bit of texture as well. So as you can see now, I'm starting to graduate this fringe area. Some people prefer to use scissors, I tend to use the clippers. I wouldn't go too short straight away, so don't go in with 0.5 and go straight over the front of it. I'm starting with a 2, see how that feels. I tend to probably go to 1, and then I'll use my mini trimmers or my scissors just to refine it through the front area as well.
So now I've gone down to no grade on the clippers. So we're going to go down to as short as we can go. So first of all, I'm starting with the grade open again. So that's about a 0.5-ish. And you see I'm still keeping my blade flat to the head. I'm just flicking out. You know, be careful on top of the ear to not change the angle. And we just work that round, all round the hairline to get that in really tight. And then gradually I'm just going to shut the grade until literally we have no hair and it takes it down to pretty much skin.
So as you can see now, I'm just refining the front section with the mini trimmers, graduate it through the front with the grade 2, and now, yeah, just finishing off the finishing touches, so it looks quite nice and sharp.
Looks really sharp. I think the colour really adds to it.
I know.
Just that slight grey toner. What toner was it that went on there?
I used the Silver Quick Tones. 5 minutes, that's all you need, and it just comes out perfectly.
Yeah, it's a great colour.
Lovely. So now I'm all finished. I'm happy with how I blend it all through. That was my first side, which I completed first earlier. And now I've just mirrored it through the second side and through the back. And now I'm just going to use the JOINATION gels to finish it off and complete the haircut.
So I've finished as well. I've just gone in really short through the sides, blended it from skin upwards. Classic short back and sides. Just going to finish with the hair shake. I love this product. I think you know, you can put it on wet hair or dry hair. Couple of squirts, and actually if you put it on dry hair and you just work it in and it dries as you're working it in. You can create some great texture and great movement. So yeah, you just spray it in, and as you work it, it dries, and you can just manipulate that shape. And you can make straight hair almost feel like it's curly. I mean, my hair's dead straight, and when I use it, it really does add some texture to it.
As you can see, this is the finished look. Side 1, side 2. Just going to spin you around, show the balance and the finished look. Amazing, thank you.
Great, my finished look. So, the side we did previous, just finished on the other side, put in a bit of a part in, kept the length through the front with a bit of texture, finished off with the hair shake, and I think it's a cool take on a short fade. Hi, welcome back everyone. So George has just come back to me after this colour that Dan's done for us. The colour is absolutely popping, vibrant, nice and shiny. The haircut is a bob with a disconnected top and a real strong fringe area. We've just disconnected and shaved through the front hairline. That's just allowed me to come slightly wider with the fringe. And I've just left the bits in front of the ear just so when I dry it, it gives a little point of interest. I'm going to start in the back. So I've taken out this triangle which just really disconnects the crown and just allows for a jumpy crown if there is one. I've already put in my outline shape, which is a slight curve, a bit of a point. And now I'm just going to start in the centre, and I'm just going to internally work the layers. We're going to lose that corner, and I'm going to direct everything to the middle. So what that's going to do is going to make it hug the head but gradually work out, so by the time it gets to the front there'll be no layers in there at all. And by directing it to the middle, it's kind of going to push it forward, so it will flatten out that and accentuate this weight just behind the ear. Okay, so I'm going to start in the centre. And it's up to you really how short you want it to go. I just want to flatten it out a little bit, so I'm literally just going to take out corner a couple of inches, and then that will just flatten and push in and give a feeling of graduation. And then my next section, I'm going to direct all to that middle point. So it's relatively easy, because as long as I'm directing everything to my point, I know where I'm meant to be. So every section on that side, I'm just going to take to that middle point.
Hi guys, welcome back. So I've got Jenny back to me after Dan's done a lovely colour on her hair. So we've gone a bit richer with the colour this time. Obviously Jenny previously a little bit blonder. It's a bit of a change today. So cut-wise, we're going to use the round graduation techniques, build up a little bit of weight through this top section into the taper, and then a little bit of scissor over comb through the side and the back, and then through the top section. Just going to freehand it really, keep it nice and textured, plenty of volume through there, and she has a nice lovely fringe where Dan put a little bit of colour through there, so that will really pop as well. So keeping the hair nice and wet, because otherwise if it's too dry you won't be able to see your sections properly. And always back to the previous, and that will build up nice weight through there into the taper through the back of the head.
So now I've worked my way to the front, and I'm literally off that very front, because I'm directing it all to the middle. all to that middle point, hardly anything is coming off that last section. Okay, and when you cross check, it's quite an angle. So that angle is mirrored in the weight line, which gradually fades out from the middle. And you can see that shape, which drops down into the front. And it's just a real nice way to create a nice graduated shape. And now I'm going to move on to the other side. Obviously, I'm cutting on the top of my fingers now, but that's more just for the angle of the camera. I always find that if you're starting out, it's always best to bring that way because you'll bring into your core and it's easy to know that you're going in the right direction. But like this also, just keep your angle, and then I'm getting to that last section now. And again, when I get to that last section, hardly any, if any at all, just the tiniest amount is coming off. And again, when I cross check, you can see that really accentuated angle, which when you comb it down is visible in the weight line and just gradually works out to the front. And it's just a real nice way of flattening out the back of the head.
Lovely. So I'm just come to the end of the first side. Just going to spin Jenny around a little bit to show you what we've done here. So obviously the round graduation through there, you can see the shape. Again, use the comb, left to right, just to see the shape going through this back. And nice and short through the back here, which we're going to finish off with a scissor over comb to get that nice taper through there as well. So literally what we're going to do now is just going to mirror exactly what we've done from that side to this side and keep on going with that.
So I'm into my top triangle. So obviously I've left that long now, so the last thing I want to do is actually cut that to my weight line that's there, because then I might as well have just brought it out and cut it to the same point. So we're just going to leave a slight disconnection, and we're following with the same angle, but we're just going with a slight disconnection. Okay, so you can see there's the guideline. I'm going about an inch longer, and that should just sit just over my weight line through the underneath. And this time I'm directing all of that again to the middle. So I'm going to work that all to the middle, and that just leaves the weight on either side and makes sure I don't cut too much out of the sides. So my top layer will end up mirroring the weight line of the underneath layers. And it's key, if you don't see your guideline, you don't cut. Yeah, keep your sections nice and small.
So again, I'm going to spin Jenny around this way. Literally mirroring exactly the same what we've done this side onto the other side. You can see that shape starting to sit there, into the tape of the neck, through there as well. Yeah.
Right, so going on to the fringe. Okay, what I want to do, I want to keep, you see there's a slight point to the fringe. So again, we're going to work with over directing to kind of create our shape. So I'm going to start by splitting down the middle. Okay, and then if we just bring it all over to this side, okay, keeping your fingers under, and I direct everything over to this side, accentuates that shape and it leaves the centre point longer. And then once I dry it, I will go through and take some weight out just to bring out that colour.
All right, so now I've finished both sides. Again, short round graduation for that side, build in some weight through this back section as well. So I'm just going to dry that off all now, and then we're going to go with the scissor over comb just through the sides and back to give that nice taper.
So my shape is done, nice and more texture internally. Today I'm going to dry it pretty smooth and straight just to show off the shape, but I think it's a nice way of injecting texture into the head and creating movement with that internal layer. I think it would look good either way, curly, bit of movement, strong fringe, or like I'm going to dry it today, straight, with maybe just a bit of texture in front of the ear, where it's a little bit fine on those bits that we've left. So, product today, I'm going to use Dream Blowout. I think it's a great product, one because it's really nice for blow drying, but it's got the heat protection in there, the thermal protection.
So just finishing off the top section, we're not taking too much length off the top there, we're just texturizing it also. When it comes to the finishing look, Jenny could wear it spiky, she could wear it with plenty of volume, she could wear it smooth, because either way she wears it, it'll be nice and textured through there. So now I've finished off the haircut now, so I'm going to use the JOICO whip. Again, only need a small amount. And so I put that all over Jenny's top section here, creating plenty of volume through there and last long and hold. So when it comes to the drying it, there'll be plenty of texture through there and it'll look nice and sharp, and the colour will pop with it and shine as well.
So yeah, I've finished my look. I think it's nice, sharp, edgy, bit of softness, strong fringe, the colour. I think as a whole package, it's a classic haircut with a bit of an edge. I think I'm going to leave George on, and I think Dan's going to come on and just refresh about the colour. Hope you like it.
So I come to the end of my haircut with Jenny again. Dan's colour, the rich tone through there, really makes the colour pop. And again, through this front section where I've gone a little bit lighter and kept it a little bit longer through there, really makes the colour and the haircut stand out as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks.
So this is the final looks for the haircuts. 3 different colours from 3 different portfolios within Joico. We've got Lumishine here, we've got the Intensities here, and Vero K-Pack here. With the colours, you can see we've got a variation of textures and tonality. We've gone quite rich and deep with heavy saturation with the intensity tones. With the Vero K-Pack, you can see we've worked really commercial and nice and natural, working with a slight undertone of mahogany, which I think really enhances the shape. And then over here, you can see that we've worked with the Lumishine. We've worked with the DDs. The beauty of this product is that we're in a position to be able to go from light to dark in one process. We've utilised the natural red gold just to create a little bit more texture within quite a nice soft finished shape. I hope you like the final colour results. We've got some more work to share with you, so we'll get going for the next look. Right, great guys, so really excited to share with you our next couple of looks. We're working with longer lengths, we're working slightly more on an editorial feel. The direction that we've decided to go on both looks is we're working with dual textures, so we're creating a look but working with different textures within the shape. So with my model Joy, you can see she's a fantastic model, she's got a great look. What we've already done, we've worked a couple of rope braids just going off to the center and pivoting round. And then what we've done is we've worked with the Joy whip and we've just utilized it on the root area, over directing it as we've got down. We've worked with a little bit of interest with some grips just to create a little bit more of an embellished finish to the look, but really it's really quite simple. And then what we've done is we've worked with various different tongs to create various different textures within the front shape. And then the plan is for me to dress it out, get some movement within there and create like a bit of an interest going through that front area.
Hi guys, so with my model, it's not very often you get to do a hair up on a shorter length. So with my model Claudia, she's got a bob length hair. She needs to keep her length, and I wanted to do something that turned just a classic bob haircut into a nice funky updo. So what we've done is we've taken this section from the recession area into a point just at the occipital bone, and we've plaited from the back just a basic scalp plait all the way to the front. I put on lots of product, lots of JOII whip. I've really loaded it up, all the hair. On these panels through the middle, I've just combed flat and sleek to the head. And then everything else, the perimeter, I've tonged on the smallest tongs I could find. So we put lots of, and I worked in little triangle sections and put lots of curls. And then the front panel, the top part of the plait, I've crimped, and I wanted to create like paper hair. So I've crimped it, and then I'm going to part it and flat iron it and mould it in. So now I'm just going to go through. I've started brushing out one side already. I really want to accentuate and really back comb those curls and really accentuate the shape, keeping that very sleek through the centre.
Okay guys, so I'm just gently starting to work my section, so you can see the difference between the textures. We've worked a classic Marcel wave working through those sides. I've just started to brush it out. It's one of those things that we've got to work at it, and it's not going to happen in one brush, so you can't be scared of it. We've put the foundation in, we've really utilised the JOII whip just to create that little bit of structure. And then through this front area, the idea is that we're working more of a back comb kind of finish, so it creates that slightly more textured finish within the shape. The idea is that it kind of ties in with Marcus's silhouette, so it kind of works within a bit of a collection within the look, but we're working with slightly different lengths. So I'm just working onto the other side now, and with each section, you kind of work your way down. So I'm starting off with my wide tooth comb, and then we'll go down into the finer teeth within the hair, and that way we get a nice seamless link. And just to talk you through the direction of the tonging that we've done, I always tend to work away from the face. So in this direction, we've worked away, and then we've reversed it and worked away from the face. That way I feel that we get more of a contemporary finish when it comes to that Marcel wave. And continuing going in the same direction just ensures that we get a nice clean finish. So that's me brushing it through with the wide tooth comb. Then I'm going to go in . And through this front area, we're combing it through and then back combing just to create that slightly more teased halo finish. And really, all of the work's done in the prep. It's all about loading up the hair, utilising your chosen mousse. But for this case, I went for the JOII whip just because I feel that I get a little bit more manipulation out of the hair. You know, I think both mousses are fantastic. You've just got to choose which one you decide to work with. based on the texture, the fabric of the hair that you're dealing with.
So by crimping the hair, it gives it a nice hold, and then when you spray it and flat iron it, it turns it into like paper hair and makes it really pliable.
And to share with you a little bit about the colour for Joy's hair, we've just got a classic face frame going through where we've utilised the Blonde Life lightener, and we've used a little bit of the quick tones going through there as well, incorporating a bit of we've utilised a little bit of sand and violet just to create that dusty finish amongst the rich ruby global application. Again, it's just a little bit playful, utilising dual textures within the shape. So to recap, we've started off, we've layered the hair up before we've done anything. We've utilised the Joy Whip, we've really saturated that. We've blow dried it through. Then we've worked our rope braids, just taking reference from the centre and going straight down on both sides. And then we've worked again with some extra mousse just to help create that kind of slick, polished finish going into the nape. We've ironed out the back area, and then we've gone in with a combination of tongs to create that bit of texture. You know, it's playful, it's a bit of an editorial finish to it, and I think with Joy's colour, it just helps pop with that little bit of quick tone going through there, just with the sand. Right guys, at this stage I'd like to invite Star on, who's another model that we've worked. She's got some beautiful texture going through there that Marcus has worked earlier, so he's going to share with you how he's approached it.
So yeah, I mean, with Star's hair, it's a look that we did for the collection for the BHAs this year, or in 2021. It's a great look, great editorial look, and it got through to Image of the Year. So we just tonged it on lots of small sections on the small tongs, keeping it clipped in while it all set, and then just brushing it out, back combing, and just layering it up and working that shape bigger and bigger. And you could keep going and going bigger and bigger, but I think it's a great look, and yeah, shows off the colour as well.
What a great ending to a fantastic day. I don't know about you, but we feel invigorated having connected with you all.